All right, Chris. I think I waited enough seconds to talk about issue 2.
Yes.
Of Absolute Carnage.
Yes. Just came out like 2 weeks ago.
It did. And I like how this event's taking its time. It's not back to back to back.
Yeah.
So it allows the comic to settle and sit.
Yeah, and also, like, you know, you got to remember, too, like, this is a lot of work for especially Stegman, right? Like, he's drawing craziness like that. You know, you get scenes in, like, this, like, Carnage kind of cave and, like, you know, you got tendrils and,
under
like,
the city.
Stalactites everywhere. And you know, he's going to need time to work on it. But also, Donnie's still writing the regular Venom book and Guardians.
A lot of
Silver Surfer Black. So there's a lot of writing going on. There's a lot of artwork going on.
And they got to be aware of what's going on in the tie-ins that pay attention to this, which talks about the other symbiotes
They got,
in
like,
the Marvel Universe
going on, you know, with the red strings. So
in the beginning of this book, we still see Venom and Spider-Man are trapped in prison, trying to find their way out of it. Eventually, they do break out, and then you get this great shot of Venom growing wings and flying off, something that we found that he could do in the beginning
of this
the Venom arc.
Yeah,
correct.
with
and
Donnie's
his
Venom
story arc.
And Spider-Man's like, oh, what the hell's happening?
Exactly, he's freaking out. Yeah,
he's like, why were you doing this?
And before they even have time to rest, you see a literal horde of red Carnage symbiotes running across the rooftops of New York, just going to the next target. Then, like you were saying about the Carnage tendrils down in the sewer below, like you see that beautiful shot of like Carnage sitting on like his own little like blood throne.
Yeah.
And then you see a sea of Carnages and then Norman Osborn right next to him, and they have a little back and forth.
Yeah, and Norman's basically being like, you know, I get it, Cletus, you're crazy, but I'm the smart one. And Cletus basically is like, no, like, you're here because of me. I'm controlling your every move, and like basically like sucks some of the symbiote out of him.
Yeah.
And like hurts him.
Like kind of like rips off his face almost.
Yeah, it's crazy. So like Norman kind of like knows his place. But I thought the big part was we had this big part in the middle where the Ultimate Universe Mr. Fantastic had to protect Dylan and little Normie Osborn from Carnage's symbiotes.
Well, it wasn't actually Carnage's symbiotes.
But Carnage controlled Scream and the other Venom symbiotes.
Exactly. If you watch the movie, it was those guys.
Yeah. So they came on Carnage's orders to get those kids because they realized that the symbiote, because Dylan is Eddie's son, he's going to have some type of
the codex in him.
And we know Normie does too because he was a little like mini red goblin.
Yes, so they want those
back in the day. So that's part of his plan. He needs to get them. And
Eddie doesn't know, by the way, that they're being attacked.
No idea.
We just get a phone call between Eddie and evil Mr. Fantastic, who, because we forgot his name, that's his name.
Mastermind, Mr. Mind,
something like that.
Megamind, something like that.
But he's like, oh, Eddie's the codex. Like, you need to get here and help him, right? So before that happens, we see Scorpion and Miles Morales down in the middle of like a Carnage field battle, bloodborne battle. They're fighting each other.
Do you know how Scorpion got there? Like why Scorpion's a part of this?
So in one of the tie-ins, Miles was on his just walking past the store. Scorpion was robbing somebody.
Okay.
Miles went to stop him in the middle of the street, and then it just so happened that Carnage horde just came down and went after Scorpion, because Scorpion once wore symbiote.
He once had the Venom symbiote, yes.
So they're going after him, and then Spider-Man is just got caught up in the mix, and he's going to fight because that's what heroes do.
Yeah.
So the two of them called a truce. They're fighting off the horde, and again, the horde is overwhelming them. I mean, it overwhelmed Peter Parker and Eddie Brock. It's going to overwhelm them too.
It's going to overwhelm them, yeah.
So eventually Peter and Venom go over there to try to help, and it's not enough, right? Like they're losing it. They're losing the battle. They're trying to retreat. And this issue flows so fast because of how much action there is. Like the issue 1 sets up so much. Issue 2, I'd be like, because of the action, everybody's cutting and going. You've seen all these fights, how hurtful it is. It felt shorter. Okay. But like it worked for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, same. There was so much. Sometimes they say this about books too. Like sometimes you don't need words to overly describe everything.
Yes.
Which I think Donnie and Ryan are so good together now that they have a flow, and they both want to be on this book for a long time, and they both are in for the long haul, and they both are now they are in their rhythm. That sometimes you could just let an artist talk through the pictures.
Yes.
So like those shots of like the horde running, you don't really need words for that. Like you're seeing that, like think of like Battle of the Bastards with Jon Snow by himself with the sword. You didn't need him to say anything. You knew what was happening.
Yeah, you didn't need over explanation.
Exactly. So I think they're in that like rhythm, that crazy deep rhythm that they have right now, and they've just made it so seamlessly easy to get into this book. Like honestly, even if you're not reading Venom,
you could. That's
so
the great
easy
thing
to
about
get
this
into
book. If you know who Venom is and you know who Carnage
which
is,
you do,
which even if you're not an avid comic book reader, you know of these characters.
And it's
you could just pick up these 2 issues and be great. Oh, we forgot to tell you the ending.
Oh, spoilers! Big spoilers.
So big spoilers. I think Scorpion might have died. I don't know what happened.
We don't know. He got stabbed or something.
So Carnage grabbed him, like actual Carnage came to the battlefield, put his hand through him.
Because Eddie came to help them.
Yes. Ripped out, I think, a part of his spine, ripped out the codex, and left him on the floor dying. And I'm like, all right, he might be dead. We don't know. And we see Miles Morales at the end is getting transformed into a Carnage zombie, if you will.
Spider-Man.
Just like Norman Osborn. And he's got a Spider-Man. So like his army's getting stronger because not only do you have regular flunkies, you're getting powered people.
Now, do you think he's doing this on purpose to force
Peter and Venom to do what they want?
Not only that, to force Peter and Eddie to basically go get the Avengers and go get the X-Men.
I don't know.
To lure those guys out all in the same place to rip the codex out of them too.
It might be.
Because you have characters like Captain America who's had it. You've had,
everybody's won it. Deadpool's won it.
If you look at Venomverse alone,
everybody's won it.
Everyone's had it. Deadpool's a big one who's had it. Wolverine's had it. All these major
Wolverine. Can you imagine to take over Wolverine?
Beast.
Yes.
All these characters. I think he's doing this
as a trap.
On purpose as a trap to make it seem like Eddie and Peter have no other option but to go to the Avengers and the X-Men and be like, we need your help. And then he has everyone in one place and he's like, you stupid idiots. This is exactly why do you think I let you go every time?
Exactly.
Because literally every time they're like,
let them go.
Norman's like, why aren't we going after him? He's like, we'll find him. We could track him.
Not yet.
Time. I think he's biding his time. He wants everyone in the same spot. And then it's going to be a bloodbath.
Oh,
like a literal bloodbath.
I think people are going to die here in this book. People have to die. He's a murderer, right?
So here's the thing. So I've been listening to Stegman and His Amazing Friends, which is the Ryan Stegman podcast, and Donnie Cates is on it a lot. And Ryan Stegman's the artist for Venom and Absolute Carnage.
He was from Invincible, right?
No, it was Ryan Otley.
Ryan Otley, my apologies.
But Stegman did the original Superior Spider-Man run with Dan Slott.
Yes. That I didn't know.
So Stegman is, talking to Donnie, and they're talking about Absolute Carnage, and they're like, he is going to kill people. Obviously, they're not giving it away, but it's really like you can't. They're obviously not, like Cap safe, Iron Man safe, Hulk safe, Thor safe.
Right. We hope.
Well, no, we know. We know.
You gotta.
Like they really, at the beginning, apparently Marvel didn't want them to kill anybody. And they were like, are you fucking crazy? Like, this is Carnage. If you're not going to take this seriously, why are we doing this? Like, you basically okayed a murder book
without a murder.
To not murder. Like, it's called Absolute Carnage. It's literally in the title. So somebody is going to die, if not many people. We know General Ross is dead, but he's been dead, but we're trying to figure out how that mixes in. Again, there's 3 more issues. It's a 5-issue miniseries that's tying in with Venom and a bunch of other tie-ins as Rob's reading too.
Yes.
So we'll kind of start piecing it together as we go. We're about to hit the midway kind of climax point where it starts dipping into like the big finales. So we'll see what happens there, but holy shit, what a different type of book that I have never read in comics before.
Yes.
I mean, you get your dark books all the time. You read Punisher, it's going to be dark. You read anything Ghost Rider, it's going to be dark. Moon Knight, Batman even. But this is a specific kind of like scary...
Oh, it's so good.
Shit that goes bump in the night book that is on a different level of like, wow, this is fucked. And you have like your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man's in it. Like, and you have Venom, who's kind of an anti-hero now, and kids in it. You know what I mean? Like there's children in this book.
Children are going to die.
Miles is a kid. He's in this book.
What if Dylan dies?
It could be a possibility. You could send, if they do that, they could send Venom down a really dark path.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have a crazy, dark, violent, hardcore, like metal as fuck book. Wood is, and it's killing it on every level. And at the end of the day, you have, like I said, you have this amazing beating heart in the middle of the story about a guy who's literally just trying to save his kid. And going to his extended family, being Peter Parker, and be through the symbiote, through the Spider-Man stuff, and just saying, listen, I really need help.
Yeah.
I think it's a great story. I think Donny Cates should win an award for it, and Stegman himself too.
I'm sure they're going to. Let us know down in the comments below what you think of issue 2 of Absolute Carnage, and what do you think of the event so far. We're 2 issues in. We have a couple more to go. Please let us know.